All right, now let's get some reaction to the release of the truck driver in that Boksburg tragedy. We're joined now by Melusi Xulu from Donda attorneys. Mr. Xulu, good morning and thank you very much for your time. You know, we all know there are very strong and raw emotions following the release of the truck driver from custody. Families have lost loved ones. They want someone to be held accountable now. But the law, unfortunately, as we all know, doesn't make it easy to prove culpability. Just talk us through the elements that must be satisfied if the truck driver in this instance were to be found guilty of culpable homicide.
Firstly, good morning to you, Fundo, and the viewers at home. And I would like to extend my, I would like to say condolences to the ones that were lost, to the families. But let me stick to the question. Look, culpable homicide is simple. It's a negligent, unlawful killing of another human being. So the question is, was the driver negligent when he drove through the bridge? And was he able to see that the bridge was lower than what was expected? The statement of the companies that hired him, they said the board was ineligible. So the question is, why did he drive through if it was ineligible? He was supposed to be more careful. But there's also a statement that he tried to warn the people that were close by. So I think that the main question is, was he negligent when he drove through the bridge? Mm-hmm. And I think that's the one that we need to really investigate on.
Mm-hmm. And you raise a very important point that, yes, now, if you couldn't see the signage there that tells you, indicates that you can pass as a truck driver, knowing that you're carrying something that is hazardous, you say that perhaps he should have then just U-turned and not gone through that bridge because obviously he cannot see, doesn't indicate if it would be safe to do so.
Yes, I think that's the most important part that I think needs to be looked at, because he was carrying a very dangerous thing that he was having on the truck. So for him to drive through might be something that needs to be looked at. But at this point, I think the police have given a statement that there's not sufficient evidence. But I think the most important institution to drive the way forward is the NPA. The prosecution needs to tell us exactly why he wasn't, the matter was withdrawn or the case was dropped, because they are the one that needs to decide. But I've checked through all the social pages or social network pages. I don't think they've given a statement. So once they give a statement, maybe we'll have clarity, because they are the ones that need to decide. As they always say, the prosecution is the dominant letters. They are the ones that decide on the case whether it continues or not.
Mm-hmm. But in this instance, some are saying perhaps the arrest itself was premature because of the gravity and the lives lost. Maybe the police felt compelled to push and make some sort of arrest. Do you believe it was premature?
Look, I'm not privy to the docket. If I could see the docket, maybe I would be in a clear position. But at the end of the day, if there's a prima facie case, a person can be arrested, and then obviously if the case, whilst the investigation is done, is not enough, the evidence is not enough, the case will be withdrawn. But what I think I should highlight for the viewer is that if a case has been withdrawn or dropped against a person who was supposed to be arrested or charged, the case can still come back to what we call a J175 summons. So if the NPA investigates further with the police and they feel there's enough evidence, they can bring him back to court. But I think the NPA is the one that will give us clarity if they are still going to bring back the driver to court or not.
All right. And they have indicated, though, that investigations are still ongoing, so anything is possible. But in the interim, can those who've lost loved ones pursue delictual claims or sue for damages for pain and suffering arising from that incident at this very point?
I think it should be a class action case, or a case where a lot of people will be bringing a case against the company. I believe that it will be a civil case that will be, you know, a very famous case that we'll see in South Africa. Because I'm of the view, like I think I'm repeating myself again. I'm of the view that we need to see how the company was planning the route. We are told that the route was supposed to go to Richards Bay from Mozambique or something like that. But I'm asking myself, who was the supervisor? What is the company supposed to do when such a route is done for a truck company that's carrying such a hazardous product. So I think a civil case is something that we'll see happening. But let's see if the families, because I think the families, they want, they want closure. And if the criminal case is not continuing, perhaps the intellectual claim is the way to go.